Okay, so what I'm going to show us is how to turn a SVG or a vector image into a 3D model. So I'm here in Inkscape because this is what we've used in previous years. This is a good place where we can make vector images rather easily. There are other ways to make them, which we'll talk about right at the end of this video, but we'll have a look at making one very quickly here. So I'm just going to make something very simple. I'll draw a couple of lines. I'll try to make a shape of some sort. And I'll add a little bit of detail to it. This is the head of a dinosaur. Give him a couple of eyes. Alright, looks a little bit goofy right now, but what I'll do is I'll add some color using the fill and stroke options on the side. So fill, I'll make his teeth a slightly off-white yellow. I'll make his actual body a bit of a greeny color. And I'll turn the stroke off his eyes so it doesn't have this white outline. Last thing, just before I finish, is I'll move his head shape to the top. Oh, okay. Put it the other way around. Move his teeth down underneath his head. And there we go. Just something really easy. We could also give him a little sail as well. Hey, we'll give him some back legs. Just for some visual intrigue. Oops. Leave that as dark fill. Turn that to a darker green. And we'll chuck it in the back. Alright. So very basic shape here that I just made in Inkscape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save that file, save. I'm just going to put it on my desktop and I'm going to call it Dino. It's not a great looking dinosaur, but he's a dinosaur nonetheless. Now we're going to go to a software called Tinkercad. You can also do this directly in Blender, but for those of us who can't access Blender at home, this is a great online free alternative. So I'm just going to hit join now. I am a student. So no, you want to hit create a personal account, and then we're just going to sign in with Google. Now I've already done this, so I'll just hit sign in with Google, and I'll pick my account. Awesome, so it's loading into my account, and here's my dashboard. So as we see here, these are creations that I made before, not very interesting, but I'm just going to hit create design, create new design, I should say. Now Tinkercad is a CAD software, so it's used normally to make objects, things like pens or bag clips or mechanical things. So we'll find all basic shapes here on the side. Even a iconosphere. And that's all fine and dandy. I can even click on basic shapes. We've also got a few other options like characters, vehicles, and machinery because we can simulate things, electronics, and a lot of other stuff here. But I don't actually want to deal with any of this because I've got my own thing that I've made. I'm going to go import right at the top. And it says drag and drop a 2D or 3D file here. Tinkercad supports STL, OBJ, so those are two different 3D files, and SVG, which is what we've just made, a vector image. So I'm going to choose a file. I'm going to select, right above that, Dino. There it is. I can import the entire artboard, which is the A4 piece of paper behind it. I'm just going to select the art just in order to detect what is actually drawn there. I can change the scale. I'm going to keep it as the default, and I can change the dimensions as well. I'm just going to go ahead and click import. You can see importing Dino. There it is. Now, some things have worked out quite well here. Right click to move around. Things like the spines look okay, the holes for the eyes, but we'll notice that those different layers have really messed up various areas. And that's specifically why I added them, just to show how it doesn't work very well. The main thing that we want is a single shape with no overlapping layers, otherwise we'll end up with things like this. It treats every overlapping shape as a void or an empty space in the shape above it. We see that with the eyes here, and somewhat with this tooth issue here. Alright, so I intentionally did this one just so that we can see the issues. If I quickly get rid of this friend and create a simple smiley face. There we go. We've got enough. Got the head. Colors do not matter as we see it imports in just a default gray. We're also going to grab another circle. Oops, no control. For the eye, and I'll put a little one of those there. I'm going to select that, Control D to duplicate it, put it over here, and I'll give him his mouth. That's not exactly what I need, so I'll go into the node editing tools, and I'll just drag that way on in. And I'll drag the top bit down just a little bit. There we go. So what we should see is a nice cutting out effect for that. We're going to save this again. Oops, it's been overwriting the Dino file, but we'll make it a new file. We'll call this one Smile. Back in here, we'll get rid of the dinosaur, just go to the delete key. Import, and we will find Smile. We're going to once again just import the art. And there we go. Now, why would we want to do this? With basic things like a smiley face or other iconography similar to it, there is some use, but not a whole lot. But we'll have a look at another cool way of doing this right at the end. Another cool thing to do with this, I should say. So very quickly, here's our smiley face. We notice that it's got some values here. It's got height. So that's how high it is. And it's also got this thing here called steps. And as we see, what was once a jagged area is now a lot smoother when we increase the steps. Crank that right back down. You'll notice it's all jagged. This is actually the amount of vertices, the amount of little dots that show up. If we were to look at this in edit mode in Blender, go away, thank you. We've also got fill mode, which is not very it's if we want the whole thing to be a flat color, or if we want to actually cut them out. So this could somewhat help save our dinosaur friend. We also see that it's got two options here, solid and whole. We'll have a look at what that's about right now. So here we have one shape. Let's go ahead and let's add a square. There it is. It is in there. It's quite small. We'll increase its length. And its width. And we'll move it over behind that. Oh, make it a little bit bigger. And let's see what that whole tool is about. So I'll select my smiley face. I'm going to click on whole. And we'll notice that it's actually cut my initial smiley face out of the shape below it. So then when I went to save this item or execute this effect, what will end up happening is that there will be a cut mark in the square. So that's a way to import an SVG image into this program here with Tinkercad. You can also do that in Blender as well. So let's have a look at something a little bit more advanced. And that's going to involve opening up a new tab. And we're going to look this time for a specific logo. I'm going to look for the Hunger Games logo. Now, I want this as a silhouette. So I'm going to write silhouette. Awesome. So here, this one here will do for me. It's the bird. It's got the arrow. I'm just going to go ahead and save that image. Now, this is currently going to be saved as a PNG image. So I'm going to call this Hunger Games. So we're going to need to turn this PNG image into a vector image. So let's have a look at how to do that. So the first way is back in Inkscape. If I just get rid of that, I can file import on my desktop. My Hunger Games image. There it is. And I can painstakingly go around the outside of it, creating an SVG image with just my pen tool. An alternative, or if you for some reason can't get Inkscape on your computer, we can type in PNG to SVG, or SVG, sorry. This will convert a PNG image to an SVG image. The only issue, no thank you. Oh, we'll do it and we'll show you the issue. So we're going to choose a file. We're going to select the Hunger Games. And we're going to hit convert. This is once again a thing called convert.io. So it's converting. Here is our Hunger Games SVG image. So I'm going to download that. And we're just going to call it Hunger Games.svg. Over in Tinkercad, when we import, and we choose this SVG image, let's select just the art. There's the bird, and import it. Come in quite large, so I'll just select it and I want to shrink it. So I got these little side bits here. I can just drag it down. It's warping, so if I hit shift as I drag it down, it's keeping its scale. Oops. And the issue that I thought would arise didn't actually arise with this image. Because it had a non-transparent background, that grey background, I thought it may come in as a block with the shape cut out of it, which does happen sometimes, but it seems that this has figured out exactly what I was actually after and successfully done that for me. So this, once again, we can do the same things that we did last time. We can increase the height of it. We can increase the amount of steps or the smoothness of it, although because of the feathers, it's not overly smooth. There we go. Just very quickly, before I end this, a couple of things to note.